Hello everyone. Good evening, one and all. I'm very grateful to IPAC, and I'm proud to be part of the prestigious and very important council, Indian International Pharmaceutical Excipient Council, India. And I'm also have a privilege to be part of other IPAC Federation member. I'm representing Incredion. Uh, Today, in this session, I want to talk about the navigating the regulatory and compliance in qualification of safe excipient. We can consider this session as an addendum to what Mr. Ravling spoke about, the morality issues, right? The morality issues caused by usage of inappropriate, I can say inappropriate usage of the excipient in the drug formula. So if we see the morality issues, it not only because of a poor quality of excipient, it also actually inappropriate usage of the poor quality of excipient through the drug formulation, which actually cause the morality issues in few countries. Unfortunately, this all the medication exported by India. It gives us the big threat, big alert in the global arena, where the India manufacturing sector stands on the regulatory to withhold the quality in the production, in the safety, efficacy of the producing the drug product to the global, right? So for any industry, it needs to understand the trend, right? Any business first, before producing the product, we need to understand what is the trend of that business and what are all the key driver for those business to drive, handle the challenges, and what is the best practice we can put it into the business to give the product. So here the product is a medicine. It adds values to the lives. It is not only considered as a just a product. It gives the values as a medicine property to the patient. So all the healthcare system, the packaging industry, or whether it is a API, or whether it is the production unit, or a regulatory quality, supply chain, all this area, the individual people from the pharmaceutical industry serving in the production of a medication need to be understand. We are serving to the patient. Yeah. So the ethic and integrity to be considered as a moral value in our industry, more than the quality, more than the regulatory, more than the production, more than the continuous process, all the things, the ethics and the integrity to be followed. So in this session, the excipient play in formulae. We all know excipient is an inert substance. The member also asked, is a inert substance, then why it causing some differences in the formula? Because pharmaceutical industry relies on the diverse range of the component to formulate not only with the API but also with the excipient. If we consider the pharma industry as a cinema, the drug product is a story of that cinema. Okay, and the API is a hero, and inactive substance like a excipient acting a role multiple: heroine, anti-hero, comedian, characteristics role. All the roles are actually playing by the inactive substances. And all the health authorities globally have the inactive database. Okay. So if we consider the US FDA, we have the database, call it as a IIDS. And the Europe, there is the excipient database is there. Likewise, each health authority, so the well-regulated market I'm not coming into the semi-regulated market. Now the semi-regulated market terminology replaced by emerging market. So India and most of the APAC countries considered as an emerging market. Okay. So the well-regulated market have the inactive ingredient database. In that they are defining the excipient which aid in the delivery. So it is determining the delivery of the medication. It is also important to provide the stability of medication and the overall performance of the medication. So what are all those, the binders, fillers? So we all studies, right? These are all part of the, the pharma, B pharmacy education itself. What are all the excipients available? So I don't want to repeat those, but I want to give the message here. These excipients, the different category, the binder, filler, disintegrant, all these are integrated into the drug formulation to enhance the drug solubility, to control the drug release, improve the patient acceptability, and ensure dosing accuracy. So one person actually asked, how the magnesium stearate giving the impact in their formula, right? That is because the percentage level of the magnesium stearate included in the formula also determine the dosage. It's not only the magnesium stearate. Sometime in the formula, 2-3 lubricants also been used. So I have seen the many formula where the formulator used both sodium stearyl fumarate as well as the magnesium stearate. Both are actually complementing each other. It's not only lubrication, sometimes it gives the super disintegrant activity as well. So when we add more excipient to ensure the dosage accuracy, and the role of excipient in the pharmaceutical industry sometimes extend more than its actual role as an inactive substance. The evidence, the biggest evidence, the diethylene glycol, right? The diethylene glycol impurity issue. So what it indicates how the safe usage of the excipient, how the qualification of excipient supplier playing the crucial role in the drug formula. Okay, so when we choose the excipient, we need to understand the excipient undergo rigorous testing to meet the regulatory standard, ensure they are free from the impurities defined by the compendia. Okay, if there is no compendia, in-house specification to be followed. That in-house specification, so when we designing the in-house specification for the, the novel excipient or co-processed excipient, it is important to understand the ICH risk assessment guideline. And so whether it is compatible with the API and do not interfere the therapeutic effect of the drug. So the last line is highly important. It should not interfere the therapeutic effect of the drug. So in case of the diethylene glycol, it actually interferes the therapeutic effect. It leads the lethal dosage of the drug formula. But the entire globe, talking only, this is because of poor excipient production at India. This is not at all only one sole reason. If the researchers actually research and give the actual risk assessment, what happened to the lethal dose, it is the inappropriate way of a usage of that particular, the excipient in the formula, and how they qualified the supplier, what the quality standard followed by that supplier, everything accountable. Also the supply chain traceability. There is no traceability placed. Who actually done the manufacturer, who was supplied the raw material for that excipient producer. So there is no traceability in the supply chain. So this is not only because of the poor quality of excipient, it caused the many actual factors. So in this arena, actually I want to talk about what is the trend of the excipient industry, what is the market size, and what is the market segmentation there, what is the market dynamics and the innovation trends, and what are all the challenges for this market, and how we can do the qualification of the safe excipient, and what is the key regulatory challenges in globally, and what best practices currently excipient supplier following. So the market size and trends. So if you see, the right hand side chart talks about the 5 part of the global, the North America, which includes, the USA and Canada, and then Europe. The Europe includes 27 United Nations. And then the Asia Pacific, more than 20 countries, which also includes, the emerging market like Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Bangladesh, India, Japan, China, everything. Excluding Pakistan. Pakistan coming under Europe actually. And Latin America, there is a three important the region. We can call it as an Andin region. Andin region covers, the Brazil majorly. That is also considered as a South American market. And apart from Andin region, we have a Mexico, Costa Rica, and some other countries which follows the Spanish regulation, Swissmedic regulations, and then the Middle East countries. Middle East majorly follows the GCC regulations, and Africa. The predominant Africa follows the the South African guideline, which is called it as a SAFRA. But other, the West Africa and the Eastern Africa still following the European guideline. And the European guideline, even though this is a 27 nation, but they are majorly following the two regulations. One is the MHRA, another one is the UK guidelines. So if we see the trend from 2022 to 2028, it is a predicted as the linear regression showing 13.9 billion USD business it is. And the compound annual growth rate, the CAGR of a 6.8 from 2023 to 2028, giving us the how much growth potential this business segment has. Okay. The factors driving this growth include increasing the demand of the pharmaceutical product, raising complexity drug formula, and the growing generic drug market. Actually, Mr. Ajit Ji told we are number 3 in the pharmaceutical industry, right? The US, the China and the US, then the India is the 3rd. But if we see the exporting nation, and I have seen one interesting fact recently for when I am working with the NMBA regulations, the importing drug product by the China drastically increased the year of 2023. And who is actually exporting to China, if you see, the first one is the Europe, then the US. So the 5 countries, top 5 countries, India is not there. But India actually exporting more into US and Europe. So why it is important to understand the import and the export? Because the excipient, what we are producing, it is using by the drug product. And which country exporting more? Obviously that country drug product manufacturer or the target audience for the excipient, which we need to understand. So where it is going, the excipient, where it is going, right? That prevalence knowledge will give us what is the regulatory and quality standard required to make sure in our production plant. And market segmentation. The pharmaceutical excipient market can be segmented based on the characteristic like, the binder, filler, disintegrant, all this. So the binders majorly improve the compressibility and ensure the uniform drug content. And the fillers and diluent enhance the flowability of the manufacturing aid. And I'm not sure. Category of the excipient, we can do the segment. So each category has its own characteristic, how it is having impact in the formula. This is what actually I have wrote it down. For each category, what is the impact, right? And other market segmentation of the excipient by product, like organic chemicals, oligochemicals, which actually the Sri already spoke about, the liquid excipient, which is coming under category of oligochemicals. So in the oligochemicals, we also have the fatty alcohol, mineral stearate, then glycerin, other oligochemicals. Then carbohydrate category. In that carbohydrate, sugar, starch, cellulose, this thing. And the one thing I want to talk about the starches, The starches, the corn starch, tapioca starch, rice starch, these are all considered as the food additives. This is also have the characteristic in the drug formula and considered as a pharmaceutical excipient. And petrochemicals like a glycol, povidone, mineral hydrocarbons, these things. Then other category, other market segmentation of excipient by the formulation. So the excipient using in the oral formula, like a tablet capsule, then excipient using in the liquid formula, and excipient using in the topical formulations, excipient using in the parenteral. So all these follows the different regulations. Then another market segmentation is by functionality application. The taste masking category, then stabilizer, then modified release excipient, then solubility, bioavailability enhancement excipient, then other functionality application. Then another thing is the regional snapshot. So as I already mentioned, the regulation predominantly, categorized with the excipient usage, which is actually differentiated by the region. Then market dynamics. So what are all the key drivers for the market? So growing demand, already as many times we spoke about that, this is the excipient majorly goes into the generic market whenever the generic market, going higher demand, obviously the excipient market demand would be equally proportionate higher. So the drug manufacturers seek high quality and cost efficient excipient. In one of, I'm not sure whether it has spoken by Ravlin or some other person, but we talk, when it comes to the API, we are into the quality mindset. When we talk about excipient, cost mindset, right? So yeah, I would like to reiterate the same thing. So the cost efficient excipient option to maintain the competitiveness in the market. So even though in considering the cost, the cost efficient, how we can offer the better quality. So what are all the parameters considered as a key challenges in those cost efficient, the scenario? There are actually the two things. The increasing complexity of the drug formula. So, evolving landscape of the drug formulation drives the demand for an innovative excipient, such as a modified release technologies and nanotechnology based formulation and personalized medicine solution. The personalized medicine solution already explained by Mr. Gosavi. He talked about the co-processed, right? This is nothing but personalized medicine solution. It's a customization. We are making a tailor-made, right? It's a trial and error. So in that cases, the drug product manufacturer needs to closely work with the excipient manufacturer to make their own co-processed perfect. Yeah. So I'm talking about here the increasing complexity of a drug formulation as one of the market dynamic. Okay. So the co-processed is absolutely customized approaches. It's not. Okay. So when we go with that, actually this personalized medicine solution is very famous in food industry. The food industry dominated by the savory snacks. Is the product going into the mayonnaise and the noodles, many. So majorly the food industries closely working with the manufacturer, making customized product. So the same way now it become popular in case of the drug product manufacturing industry as well. They are closely working with the excipient manufacturer to make their own co-processed combination of the excipient to their formula to make the accuracy in their dosage, to make more viscosity, enhance the viscosity, enhance the texturizer of the tablet. And we know the texturizing is very famous in the food, right? The French fry, if it is very smooth, then only we will buy. And the bhaji, bonda, how the texture is important, right? The same level, actually, the texture become highly important for the oral solid dosage forms as well. So this texture, how we can bring by the proper usage of the excipient mixture. So demand, the innovation is not only always about something new chemically invented, but also how we can use the combination ratio in the formula. That is also considered as an innovative approach. So these kind of technological advancement in excipient manufacturing also make this market more dynamic. And another, more than the conventional DC mannitol, we also have, the spray dry mannitol, spray dry lactose. This is considered as an innovation or advanced technology. And the rising focus on the patient safety, another one paramount for the as a key driver in the market dynamics. Then, stringent regulatory requirement. This is listed last but not a least, which is actually predominantly driving any market, not only the drug, but any market, the regulation, ethical standard is highly important. But in case of the drug product industry, whether it is API quality regulatory or a packaging or a excipient, what we are giving is not only the product, but what also we are giving is the insurance policy. Right, so it's about the insurance policy. Our product are highly safe. It produces the efficacy what you need. This is kind of an insurance policy we are selling actually. So the regulatory agencies closely monitor the use of the excipient, including the sources where it is coming from, whether it is a mineral origin or a natural origin, right? And then whether it is a GMO product or non-GMO product. If it is a GMO, there is a separate regulation. If it is a non-GMO, it's a separate regulation. And the manufacturing process. If it is a batch manufacturing, there is a regulation. If it is a continuous manufacturing, the critical process parameter, how to monitor, that is a separate regulation. And the quality control measures, compliance with the regulatory guideline. So the regulatory guideline is not only about the ICH. If you want to produce the drug product and exclusively sell into the USA market, not only what is ANDA guideline talks about, but also need to look upon the general chapter of the USP Pharmacopoeia Commission, what talks on the GMP. So GMP of a drug product and the GMP for the excipient, which is recently added by USP Commission 2023, and IPAC Federation closely reviewed and given our comments to the USP General Chapter Revision 1078 for the GMP for excipient, exclusive excipient. And also the IPAC Federation give our reviews to the revision of the 1059 for, risk assessment. So why I am talking about the general chapter, it is not only the monograph is important, it's equally important to refer the general chapter if we want to produce the product particular to sell into the one particular region. And excipient innovation trend. So enhance the drug solubility, there are many ways are there. The solubilization. For solubilization, majorly the co-solvent and the surfactants are using. Particle size reduction, polymers, and again the surfactants, which reduce the drug particle size and increase the specific surface area. And complexation. For a excipient like cyclodextrin, it is forming, the inclusion complexes with poorly soluble drugs improve their solubility and amorphous solid dispersion. For that, we are using again the polymers. So these, why this I am talking, because the versatile nature of the excipient, it's so the manufacturer should not consider the excipient only the inert substance. Definitely not. It makes a wonder in the formulation. If we have the proper knowledge how to use the excipient in the formula. And the co-processed excipient, already Mr. Kosavi covered majorly, so I don't want to repeat this. Then what are all the challenges? So the qualification of safe excipient by the drug product manufacturer through their AVD program. AVD is, the alternative vendor sourcing. That is called it as a AVD in the industry. It is very, very important. So in the regulation for the excipient, there are the three strengths are there. One is, what is the registration need to be done with the health authority? That is called it as a DMF registration. So the excipient manufacturer must follow the registration regulation per country where we need to register our excipient. Again, it depends on our customer need. So number one is registration regulation related to the health authority agencies. And the second thing is, what is customer need? Mr. Gosavi again told there is two things. What is customer need? What drug product manufacturer look and health authority look, right? So the customers are the drug product manufacturer here for the excipient. For their AVD program, they first look upon what is the quality standard put up in the plant, right? So those GMP regulation. So currently the GMP regulations for the excipient manufacturer majorly depends on the Excipact certification. How the USFDA certification is important, how the TGA certification is important, how WHO GMP is important. Like the way for the excipient industry, it is considered, the Excipact GMP certification is important and giving the confidence to the drug product manufacturer. The production of excipient supplier follows the standard regulation in their quality perspective. And complex regulatory landscape. The regulatory landscape governs the excipient complex and continuously evolving. So when we sell the product to our European customer, right? So the European customer, let us assume the European customer maybe put their plant in India. We don't know where they put their plant. So it's about what is the regulation needed to them. That needs to be taken mind, and we need to make a tailor-made documentation to them for their registration. And then the quality management is the another challenges. As I mentioned, each general chapter has the unique GMP requirement. So the IPAC Federation actually put lot of effort and providing how we can qualify, how drug product manufacturer can qualify the excipient. The qualification guideline given by the IPAC Federation, which can be actually referred. Then supply chain management. As I already mentioned, the traceability is highly important in this dynamic market. So one person sourcing, right? One person sourcing the RM and another person is producing the excipient, and it is going through the distributor to the end use customer, right? And the production plant may be located in some other country. So if you see the entire supply chain network, more than, definitely 7 to 10 countries actually involved in this dynamic thing. So how it is not only we can't blame not only the excipient supplier or one particular producer. So the safe medication equally important from where the RM sources begin until where it is selling into the country. And all the regulation need to be considered in the supply chain management. And the traceability equally important. And supplier qualification. For related supplier qualification issues, need to understand the QMS portion is not only the GMP. What is QMS? How it is differ from the GMP? It's a quality management system. There are many softwares available in the market nowadays. The foreign manufacturers. I'm not sure how many Indian manufacturers are using those software, but in the foreign manufacturers mostly using the QMS softwares for their ensuring the practices like change control management and process accelerators and the performance indicators and the stability. All this become a controlled version. And other challenge is the emerging excipient. That is a novel excipient, which is a very vast topic. It needs more regulations. Okay, so in this slide, talking about the key regulatory challenges. So compliance with the regulatory guidelines is essential for market approval and commercialization. Why it is important? For an example, we are selling an excipient into a drug product manufacturer who wants to register that drug into China. Then they needs to follow the NMPA regulation for that drug product dossier. And NMPA, that is the health authority of China, they have a thumb rule. So they need to evaluate not only the drug product dossier, they also wants to evaluate simultaneously the excipient included in the drug formula, packaging material included in the drug formula. So the NMPA recommended the drug product manufacturer, you go and talk to your excipient supplier. All the excipient supplier must to register their drug, the excipient into NMPA. So it become a mandatory now. So each of the excipient supplier, if they want to sell the product to the end use customer who's selling their product to China market, needs to do the CDMF filing, right? So it becomes complex. And how long it may take? 2 years. 2 years review period. So if someone asking my excipient for the trial product, now I put a place, I put a questions. Okay, which market you are using, whether it is a trial batch or your commercial batch already approved, and we are going to be an alternate vendor. These are all the highly important to understand the prevalence and the usage of the excipient in the market. And the another important thing is the harmonization, because currently the registration requirement not harmonized. We are keep telling pharmacopoeias are harmonized. The USP, Europe and the Japanese pharmacopoeia harmonized, and the previous year Indian pharmacopoeia also harmonized with the global arena. But practically, if we see the excipient, the pre-gelatinate starch monograph of the USP provides the very less stringent, but the China regulation provide highly stringent. Yes, yeah, highly stringent. So still we need to look into what is the individual monograph talks about, how we can harmonize the individual limits to make a less complex in the usage of the safe excipient. And the best practices. So as I already mentioned, IPAC regulation provides lot of guideline, especially the qualification of excipient, which actually emphasize the consistency, control and performance indicator. And I also provide the link here, you can use it to see how much informative it is. And the other guideline, IPAC safety guidance by the IPAC Europe, which is covers the safety evaluations for the excipient proposed for various pharmaceutical firms. And then the implementing GMP for an excipient. So we are actually following the EXIPACT, IPAC, PQG GMP, which is harmonized and considered all the general chapters of the monographs. So let us do remember the rules and regulation applying to the excipient will vary from region to region. As I mentioned, there is 5 regions across the world is a key driver for this dynamic market. So we need to look upon where it is usage, where the usage is going, and in that particular region, what is the regulation put up in place apart from ICH, apart from IPAC, apart from the general chapter of that particular region compendium forum. And achieving GMP certification standard equivalent to the EXIPACT GMP certification become important, and refer the International Pharmaceutical Council Federation guideline provide clarity on the industry requirement related to the operational issues solutions which integrated with the quality and regulated standards. Thank you.